I'm a retired dropshipping whiz kid. I started dropshipping in 2019 with like my student loan money. First campaign I ever ran was like a huge winner for me. So I went from like, I think I made like 2K month one and then 20K month two, 160K month three. So it was a huge run up. If you went through the dropshipping gauntlet, most of the time you have to test like 100 products. I did not have to do that. I like hit it on number one.
Welcome, everybody. We have the wonderful Ethan Harris here. You spoke at my last event in Austin, Texas. That was when I first got to meet you. I got introduced to you through Vivek, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, man, we've just been kind of keeping in touch here and there ever since then. And I thought you'd be a great person to have on here just because, like, you have a crazy creative strategy. It's pretty cool. Also, I love how you're doing like AI and also sort of building out, like, what would you call that with your Telegram stuff?
We're just trying to automate like everything we can. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
A lot of
automation,
yeah.
operation stuff. I mean, it removes an army of VAs if you want to do that. So
Yeah, very cool, man. All right, well, before we get into all that sort of stuff, let's dig back and kind of talk about like how you found this space, how you got into this space, and currently where you're at now.
yeah, man. So I'm a retired dropshipping whiz kid. So I started
Nice.
yeah, I started dropshipping in 2019 with like my student loan money. First campaign I ever ran was like a huge winner for me. So I went from like, I think I made like 2K month one and then like 20K month two, 160K month three. So it was a huge run up. I got extremely lucky to like, there's no getting around that for sure. But
Yeah.
so like, I feel like, if you went through the dropshipping gauntlet, most of the time you have to test like 100 products. I did not have to do that. I like hit it on number one. And so as a result of that, I had no idea what to do when my ads died. So like so I had a giant run up, and then as soon as the ads died, I had a total of 2 creatives in that ad account. And then I didn't even get like a used Lambo out of it because I just gave all that money back to Facebook. I was like, let's spend another 10K on it, see what happens.
Damn,
Yeah,
man. Do you mind telling what that product was?
Yeah, it was the TikTok leggings, like with the kind of waffle pattern with the scratch at the back.
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
like booty
Make the
leggings.
cheeks look good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I did those, and then I had a couple other.
Those are easy to sell.
Oh,
Those are
man.
so easy to sell.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just crushing back in the day too, and like this was
Yeah.
2019, so like running up into 2020 when it was just like money printer season on ecom. So I did pretty good those first 2 years. Made a bunch and then gave it back like probably 4 or 5 times during that era.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and so I worked at after that I worked at a couple different agencies. So I was a media buyer for a couple different big clients. I worked with like Jazzercise and some other cool bigger clients, which was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then so the way I got
that's
into
a big product too.
Yeah, it was cool. We did pretty good numbers with them. And the way I got into affiliate was so do you know Koi? Yeah, so Koi was the one that introduced me to dropshipping back in the day when he was still doing Instagram pages.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, and so he introduced me to Carter, and that was how I got into affiliate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So are you like on Facebook, are you just completely self-taught originally, or did you do a course or anything like that?
I don't know. I didn't do a paid course. I did shout out Gabriel St. Germain. You probably remember him. He had some good content back in the day. I definitely learned a lot from that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was mostly self-taught, just like
very cool.
Trial by fire.
No, dude, that's great. I mean, that's almost like one of the best ways to learn, right? Because you really sort of figure it out versus like doing a course and having someone sort of tell you what to do. Like, I think there's benefits to both, but like I personally love the struggle bus of just figuring it out yourself as well, So
I always had like tried to get into all the groups and stuff too. So like having a community was huge.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a lot easier. I feel like maybe back then there wasn't too much community I don't know how many years ago you're going back here, but it seems like communities now, there's a lot of them, and a lot of people are super open to sharing stuff. So it's a lot more an inviting of a space, I think, these days than it was.
Yeah, it's nice. And like especially
Yeah,
like going to events and being able to, just hang out with the boys for a few days, just awesome.
yeah, yeah. You were just down in Mexico, weren't you?
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, that was a Digistore event, right?
Yeah, and they had one in Aspen last year too. That was also total banger.
Those guys put on like crazy events, man.
Yeah,
It's like they're just trying to like burn money up. It's
I'll
it's
take it. It's
nuts.
the best.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so then once you got it started with Carter, how did that originally go? Like, I think that like sometimes when you get brought onto a new team, it's sort of a slow build. I've never worked with Carter on anything before, but I'm assuming that he just kind of throws you in the deep end and you go heavy and hard right out of the
Yeah,
gate.
100%. I was thrown into the deep end. But that was like the best way to learn how to do it because I had never seen
Yeah,
like a tracker, like Red Track before. I
yeah.
never used anything like that. I'd never run like a real affiliate campaign. I made a couple attempts like back in the day. I was literally like copy pasting my clickbait link into the freaking ad text
Yeah.
on Facebook. Just like didn't know what I was doing at all. So I had to figure out all that stuff. And we were running ACA pay per call back then. So like
Oh,
that
cool.
adds an entire different level because you're dealing with like call
Yeah.
tracking and stuff too. Um,
Yeah.
eventually got the hang of it. Probably took me like a month or two to really get going, but after that, it was good.
Trackers are tough, man, especially if you aren't used to that world. I feel like now I still struggle with like UTMs and like sub IDs and shit like that
Yeah,
constantly. Like,
it's always something.
I kind of have like I have a cheat sheet that I've had forever that I just sort of refer to, you know.
Yeah, and like every
But then when it gets like
advertiser's gonna have something a little bit different. Breaks are all
right,
set up.
yeah. But then like once it's past that, I'm like, okay, I'm stumped. Like I need to start asking around here to get this sorted. So that's cool, man. So ACA was your first like big campaign.
Yeah, yeah, we did pretty good numbers on that in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some really good runs, but for the most part, that was like all I ran for the first
Oh,
year.
dude.
Yeah, yeah. So when that kind of
What was
died
it
out,
like?
yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. What was it like? So if you're coming from like branded stuff into ACA, like we've all seen ACA ads. I'm not gonna give away anything on here, but like they're pretty aggro.
Yeah.
So like what was it like coming from like a fully like regular branded company to be like, you're gonna run this shit? Was it kind of like, did you take you back at
Dude,
all?
I loved it because that was like my favorite part about drop shipping is because like you could say anything, like the ads
Yeah,
are, you can kind of have fun with it. You can be like genuinely creative. I feel like it's more of
yeah,
an expression of like what you can actually create versus like a branded thing. They're gonna yell at
yeah,
you about every ad, especially if it's performing, they're gonna have a complaint, that kind of thing.
yeah. ACA is an interesting world, man, because I feel like it's like kind of like one of the first ones in a while where it's just like you can run as aggro as you want. And like even the buyers are kind of aware of it, and they just like kind of turn the like their eyes. It's like a blind eye thing, you know. You're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, just go for it, just do
It
whatever,
was a
just as long
weird
as the
time.
quality's sort of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever going to be a time like that again, to be honest.
Not in a while. I can't foresee that. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, crazy, man. So you went from ACA, that died out. Where'd you transition next?
Yeah, so like first 6 months of 24 were pretty rough, honestly. So I was learning YouTube.
Yeah.
That was when I got into home services. So the Cole brothers introduced me to home services, and I started running it on YouTube. Had a pretty good run there, and then like last half of last year, like totally blew up because we started running the VSL stuff.
Hmm. That's cool, man. Very cool. So you are mostly on YouTube right now?
It's all Facebook for me right now. Yeah, I did it for like
Oh, interesting.
yeah
Okay.
first 6 months of 24, but there's people that are way better at YouTube ads than me. But for me,
Yeah.
I had to scale so slow that I was just infuriating. Whereas I can like
Oh,
scale to the
yeah.
moon on Facebook in one day.
Yeah. Do you still run much home services?
Yeah, it's kind of like my baseline. So I'll have like 5 or 6 campaigns that aren't
Yeah.
like huge scale, but they're green every day, and then I can kind of go for the
Yeah.
home runs.
Yeah. We kind of have the same, right? We just like, we have a Windows campaign that's like tried and true, and like rarely it goes down. Um, Yeah, that's kind of our baseline. And then we got like a couple other offers in there that are baseline too. But then we always try to bring in like the heavy hitter stuff and see if we can kick it out of the park. But yeah, it's the baseline stuff saves our ass more than we'd like it to. I think,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely helps you sleep better at night.
Yeah, that's for sure. 100%. Um, Cool, man. Well, I did want to sort of dive into some of the cool skill sets you have. Like you have a really unique creative strategy that we sort of talked about at the beginning of this. And also just like the automation stuff, man. So if you could like, let's start with the automation stuff, because I think that that was a really interesting talk that you gave at my event. And it'd be nice to kind of go over that again.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, basically the gist of it is, so we used to have, a number of VAs for every step in the pipeline. So like if we're
Yeah.
uploading the same ad to multiple ad accounts, which we often do, like I'm sure you probably do this too, where you have to like wipe the metadata, maybe like speed the video up
Hmm.
by a couple percent, change the saturation or
Yeah.
whatever. At the beginning it was me. I would spend like 4 hours a day in Final Cut Pro, like clicking the same
Yeah.
3 buttons 1,000 times just to set up another ad account. And
Yeah.
like if you're paying a VA for that, that's you can do that, but it's also like just a waste of time for everyone. So I started experimenting with using AI to automate things like that. So um, like I have a little bit of a technical background. Like I taught myself to code in high school. I was a computer science major
Hmm.
briefly in college, but I didn't write any of the code for this. So I just told ChatGPT like, hey, what are my options? Looking to create a program where I can like put all my ads in a folder, and I want it to ask me like how much to speed it up by, how much to change the saturation, and just spit all the edited videos out in another folder. And
Hmm.
pretty seamlessly, it's like, okay, here is your options for like an open source like video editing library, right? So FFmpeg is what it ended up using. I'm like, okay, let's use FFmpeg, just generate a script that'll do that. Tell me like what the folder setup needs to be. Tell me where I need to put the code. And it just did everything for me. Like every tool that I demoed and every tool that I'm going to talk about, like I didn't write a single line of code for it. And I think it's like it can be a little bit confusing to set it up. Um, but literally you can just keep asking questions. Like, okay, I have the code. What file do I need to put it in? What folder? What do I need to do to run it? And it'll give you like detailed enough instructions to do it, even if you're not technical at all.
That's really cool. So like break it down. You just have like, let's call it a big Google Drive filled with creatives. You basically get the script to run and pull all the files out of that, do what you need to do, and then it plugs them back into that folder.
Essentially, I mean, there's no Google Drive involved. I'd like to keep it as simple as possible, so it's faster.
Yeah.
I just keep all the ads on a external hard drive, and then it just pulls them from
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah, because otherwise you're having to download them from Google Drive and then re-upload, which just adds more time.
Got it. Okay. So the script runs directly on your computer. Then it's not run on like
Yep.
it's not hosted anywhere.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I assumed that when you were like just mentioning Telegram stuff before, but
Yeah.
yeah,
The Telegram stuff
got it.
does hook up to Facebook. That's the only API connection it uses.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Cool. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you plan on selling any of that shit?
I thought about it. I mean, I've offered, people have asked me to like consult for them or whatever, on whatever tool they're trying to make. I'm happy to do that. I mean, more often I'm just happy to help out, like, especially when it's like
Yeah.
friends of mine that are asking me, but, packaging it into a SaaS kind of creates a whole other thing, a whole other layer to it
Yeah.
that, I don't know if I want to deal with. Plus, like, a lot of the tools are valuable enough that like, just using them internally like makes it totally worth it to work on them.
Yeah. That's fair. Like just the time, like based on what you've told me that it saves is huge, right? Because like for us, that's our biggest issue is probably creative time with editing and so on and so forth, and then also like uploading is the biggest time
Yeah.
suck for us as well.
I
So
can tell you a little bit about some of the other tools too. So especially
yeah,
for
let's
like
do
for
it.
video editing, gives us a ton of leverage. Like, so I have a video editor. Well, I guess I'll start with like the way I write scripts. So I'll start with like just a paragraph script like you would write normally, right? And then I'll break it
Yeah.
out into 3 parts. So like the hook, the intro, and the body. I mean, whatever you want to call those 3 parts, right? And then I'll write
Yeah.
4 or 5 variations of every piece of that script. So I'll write, usually it's like 4 hooks, 4 intros, and 2 bodies. The reason is just because like I want the most variations on the front end. Because that's where the most of your leverage is. Like if you can get them to halfway through the script, you've got them anyway. So that's how I do it. So like for every script idea that we write, that's 32 total combinations, because 4x4x2. So then when I send that script off to the video editor, he makes 10 tiny little clips. It takes him like 15 minutes or whatever to gather all the clips and generate the voiceovers and stuff, and we get 32 unique ads out of that. And sometimes it does make a really big difference, like the way you're phrasing the hook. So if you have one concept that's like maybe like a home services angle for a particular demographic, like seniors, like the way you call out that demographic in the hook might make for a completely different script, right? Like you could do like a story-based hook, like my grandma really needed new windows, or you could say like this new window service for seniors. Those kinds of things can really affect the way that it resonates with that audience. And it makes it extremely easy for your video editor to handle it too, because they just send you back those clips, you plug them into the program, and it just spits out all the ads for you. It just stitches them together.
So interesting. I want to dive into a little bit more on that. So let's, like, you're saying he's putting like 10 clips or so together and then putting the different voiceovers on it. Do you find that those 10 clips pull a lot of weight in the conversion itself, or do you think it's all script and like hook related?
So this is something my video editor used to do. He used to put different B-roll on every clip that he made. I stopped having him do that because I didn't think it made a difference. I haven't seen it make a difference, at least not in a while. So like the main variable is the script that we're testing. So like once he makes the clip, I'll just have him like generate new voiceovers and put it over the same clips.
Interesting.
But after we have a winning script, I'll have him go crazy on new clips, but that's like secondary.
Got it. So you still are optimizing the clips as well, but like right out of the gate, you're mostly just going for the hook and script combo that works the best. Do you find that like a mediocre, like mashup of videos and clips is still going to be good enough?
I mean, yeah. So like the way we test things, it's definitely like prioritizing quantity, just for the Facebook algorithm. But once we have that winning script, we'll get a lot more creative about formats. So like we'll test that in like a million different formats of image. We'll do like maybe an AI UGC video. Maybe like one of us will record it. We'll do a lot more variations on that script just to get the formats. But initially, what we want to test is primarily the concept, like the script.
Got it. Okay. I see what you're saying. So do you ever get in the situation where you have like, I don't know, let's call it 6 different versions of the same script that are all converting well together?
Yeah, definitely. Especially,
or usually one will beat out.
So, I mean, it depends. Like when we have a killer offer, I mean, you've seen this before, like any creative works. So I'll have like, I do like the giant CBOs. Like I'll have some CBOs with like 1,500 ads plus, just like a million ad sets. I just max them out. And I'll go into the ad breakdown on our tracker, and it's like I'll have 20 ads that are all spending pretty significantly. When it's really crushing, but like other times, I'll have the same ad, just one of them, even though there's like 1,000 ads in the campaign, there's like one ad that's pulling weight for months, So it just depends on the offer mainly.
Got it. So, and you're just like kind of letting Facebook do its thing and optimize. Are you tinkering within the CBO and pausing and removing stuff, or just letting it run its course?
I try not to pause anything. I'll change bids just depending on performance, just bids and budgets mainly. And then I'll just try to feed it new creative. So I'm messing around with, like instead of, one campaign per offer, trying to switch over to, like one campaign per new batch of creative. The hypothesis there is like maybe it'll help us get more spend out.
Yeah.
If we limit the options that Facebook has, some people think like, oh, you should always test against your top winner.
Yeah.
Like maybe that is true, but if we can get like, even an additional couple K a day and spend at 20% or whatever, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's for sure. So one thing I also want to ask with those big CBOs, do you find issues with scaling it up? Because I think that like a lot of people are seeing, not a lot of people, but people that I generally talk to, and we even notice on our team, we can make a decent amount of money off of it, but trying to get it to scale past let's call it like 2K a day profit per CBO. We have trouble getting it to spend more profitably because either you're tweaking the bid and then that's killing your ROI, or you're cranking the budget with a lower bid and that doesn't really do anything, right? Or you're turning accelerated on or off. Not I think that doesn't really do too much. So how are you guys getting that big spend out of those CBOs?
I mean, we found that like I don't know, there's a couple weird things, especially with bid caps. Like we ran this offer last year that was a pretty high CPA. It was like 200 or something. And
Nice.
I found that, I got it to break even pretty much. And, all those like high payout campaigns are always weird at the beginning. Like you can't get anything from your data until you spent like 100K on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was using a bid cap and it was just stagnating. Like it was spending like $100 a day for, I want to say like 3 weeks or something. And then I didn't touch the bid. I didn't touch the creative at all. And like all of a sudden, like it just spends 1,000. And then like the next day it spent 3,000. And then I bumped the budget. And like within a few days, that campaign was spending like 20K a day. So like a lot of times there's really weird stuff that happens like as that campaign dials in. I've also had campaigns like in home services where like it'll spend barely anything for the first few days, like a couple $100, just like that other campaign, and then it just rockets off to 10K, 20K.
Interesting. So you're definitely playing the long game a little bit more so with these CBOs and just kind of seeing where they end up, and just like most people, just feeding them full of creatives and eventually know that they're just going to optimize and start spending more.
That's definitely what I prefer, especially if it's a fixed payout. Like the rev share campaigns are definitely more complicated. We try to test like every bidding strategy. So we'll use like especially like the campaigns that have really wide ranges. Like say your cheapest lead is like $3 and your most expensive is 200. Things like max conversion value and target ROAS really come in handy on campaigns like that. But
interesting.
There's other campaigns where like say it's a VSL and your entire margin depends on your upsell take rate. A lot of times what'll happen is like, say you're bidding $100 for a conversion. You might go and lower it because your margin sucked that day or whatever. And then Facebook says, okay, I can get you conversions at $80, but they're going to be like bottom of the barrel conversions that aren't going to take the upsell. So you might lower the bid, you actually get lower conversions, and then your margins go down with it. So that's where like max conversion value, target ROAS really come in handy, because you're still bidding on like higher quality consumers. So you're telling Facebook, hey, ROI is the actual important thing that I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking for cheaper conversions, or look for margin.
Interesting. So do you even do that on like a lead gen campaign that's firing off a lead value? Or so I guess you can't do it on a lead gen campaign that's firing off a lead value. So you switch everything to purchase.
Yeah, I run everything on purchase. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You run everything on purchase, even your home service stuff.
Yeah.
And what's the reason for that besides the that ROAS goal and stuff like that?
I mean, if it were on a flat payout, it probably doesn't matter at all. It's just like the standard I have going now. It's just easier. It gives you more flexibility. Like if you have that pixel, maybe it's superstitious and like voodoo magic, but if you eventually want to run like a rev share version of that campaign, you have that purchase data already in there.
Interesting, man. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. That was like masterclass on how to run bid cap CBOs and scale some stuff up.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Very cool. I love it, bro. I love it. All right. So you're mostly doing VSLs now. Do you find that you prefer that to Leadgen?
Well, I definitely prefer it to pay per call. I can tell you that. I mean, it's really nice. It's like there's definitely less stress on the hairline and stuff like that on a VSL
Yeah.
because I mean, you're not responsible for like dealing with payments. You don't have to worry about, oh, I only have 100 leads today. Just random crap like that. You don't have to worry about quality necessarily. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna see the quality, based on your upsell take rate. So, like
Yeah.
it's there's a
Yeah.
lot that's done for you, which is awesome. I mean, they're a lot harder to dial in because like every customer that you get has already watched like an hour long video. So you
Yeah.
know, you kind of have to throw more at the
Yeah.
wall and see what happens.
Do you find that the creative process for VSLs is more challenging or more robust than like doing like a lead gen campaign?
I would definitely say it's more robust just because like you can it's a lot more open ended. You can say pretty much whatever you want. There's not necessarily
Yeah.
like a specific lane that you need to stay in to keep the quality high
Hmm.
for the advertiser. Like as long as you're getting people interested enough to watch the video,
Yeah.
you're in business. So like we make really interesting like skits and like story-based videos that work really well. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, but like the ads that don't look like ads, I like those a lot. So we try to make our ads look pretty organic. So like we'll do videos like responding to a comment that someone else made,
Hmm.
things like that
Yeah.
that work really well. Showing off like maybe there's a news article related to your niche. You can just say like, "Hey guys, look, check out this news article. This has been blowing up. You got to check out
Yeah.
the video down below." That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Do you find that the length of your VSL ads versus like your lead gen one to be much longer, or it's pretty similar?
It's honestly probably about the same. I mean, I test like,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I'll test really short ads for both, like under 30
Yeah.
seconds. Um, I mean, probably around the same, honestly. Like between 30 seconds and a minute 30 is the sweet spot.
Very cool, man. Cool. Awesome. So that's fun. That's cool. I haven't done VSLs for so long, man. So I feel like I just have so many questions on that. But I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna move on from
Very
it.
cool,
But
man. You got to come to the
okay,
next Diddy Store event. Put you on.
dude, I would love to. Yeah, I would absolutely love to, man. And they look like an amazing event. Everyone I know that goes to them has a great freaking time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to do that. But okay, so what's kind of like you're kind of like in this deep, you're loving this, you're making a lot of money doing this. Do you have like a sort of end plan in your life past this, or is like right now this is your goal, you're just making a whole bunch of money um and seeing where it ends up? Or do you have like a bigger plan down the road for
I
this?
don't know. So the way I think about it with affiliate is like affiliate is such a good business model because it gives you like a real visibility into like any industry that you want pretty much. So like you could
Yeah.
have 24 campaigns running, in a variety of
Hmm.
different industries. And like, you can really see like, okay, this industry is popping off and there's so many like intermediate steps to vertically integrate like an affiliate campaign, right? So like maybe I'm running
Yeah.
with a broker, new campaigns popping off. Maybe I'll just go get that advertiser, and then maybe I can go another level up and like do my own call center, like whatever is qualifying that
Yeah.
customer for a lead gen campaign, for example. Those kinds
Yeah.
of opportunities are really interesting to me. Um,
Hmm.
but right now I'm just kind of riding the wave. Like I'm kind of like an
Nice.
intermediate affiliate. I'm not like some of these guys that have been like
Yeah.
building their own offers for 20 years. So
Hmm.
eventually I'd like to get to that level, but right now like it's all traffic all day.
I love it, man. That's cool. And to be honest, it's almost more fun, to be fair.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like winning
it's
the
like a big
lottery every
game.
morning. It's the best.
Yeah. Until you lose,
Right.
you know, and then you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Been there.
um, yeah, dude. I think we all have. So for someone starting to get into this, or someone that's like been in this space, they don't really know where to transition, and let's say they're like making mediocre numbers, whatever you want to call it. What opportunity do you see as the biggest opportunity right now in this space for someone that doesn't really know what direction to go in? And I know that's a very vague question because you can go in almost any direction, but like let's say you were not in a place where you were content with what you were doing. Let's say you're making like 500 to 1,000 bucks a day and you don't really know how to go past that. What direction do you think you would go in?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could talk about like my biggest breakthrough in the last like 12 months was probably
Sure.
learning how to simplify my ad accounts and like find where your point of leverage is. So, like if the majority of your leverage on your ad platform, like let's say Facebook, just for example, is on creative, like you need to structure your workflow so that you can output as much creative as possible. So like if your ad account is busy and you're like a duplicator, you have a million different duplicate campaigns, like there's someone out there that's running the same ads with one campaign is probably doing just as well. So if you
Yeah.
optimize towards a simpler ad account, you might be able to crush that person, generate 50 times more creative, and that's going to be like the big next step. It also gives you the opportunity to run more than one campaign. So like you're not just relying on the ebbs and flows of one offer, one advertiser. You can have like 7 or 8 things going pretty easily, and still have enough creative output to beat a lot of people. And that was like the big level up for me, honestly, was I was getting more campaigns in the mix and simplifying the way I run things.
Got it. So, sorry, I don't really fully understand the comparatively to someone with a busy ad account. So, what do you mean by that? Like, they just have like tons of dupes and like
Yeah.
random shit in there that's not really being optimized?
Yeah, exactly. So that was what I used to do for ACA. Like I was like a duplicator, hardcore duplicator. I would start the day with like, at when we were running the most volume, it was like hundreds of campaigns every morning,
Yeah.
and they would all be different from the campaigns I ran yesterday. Um, and I
Yeah.
would spend all day just cutting and scaling, which like still works. People still do it, but I was never
Mhm.
able to run more than like 2 ad accounts without going insane. Um,
It's a full-time job
yeah,
for sure.
not
It's
not to
like,
mention
yeah,
like dealing with creative production too.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So what you're saying now is like focus on less creatives, most likely better quality creatives, on some level, and then just let Facebook sort of do the optimizations for you and ride that out versus just like mass duping every day and pausing every day trying to squeeze out those
Yeah,
numbers.
less campaigns, more
Okay.
creatives.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Cool, man. All right. And we do have some people that watch this that are like straight noobs, or like maybe they're coming over from drop shipping. They don't really know what to do in the affiliate sort of space. What's kind of your best advice for someone that's just getting started?
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I kind of came into the space from a pretty roundabout way. I kind of totally went full
Yeah.
circle. But I mean, they should take your course for one.
I
Um,
was not looking for that plug, but
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, they should. And yeah, just get in as many groups as possible. Like people are
Hmm.
pretty open now, like you were saying, and
Yeah.
that's huge. Like if you uh, are transparent in the groups, people will be transparent back and tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You can show off your ads, show off anything that's working or not
Yeah.
working for you, and people will always have opinions about how to make it better. So
Yeah.
yeah, just
And
engage
don't be
with.
scared to, yeah, I think don't be scared to ask dumb questions because like I don't know, a lot of like I do those weekly calls and a lot of time people are like nervous to ask dumb stuff. And I was like, dude, that's why we're here, man. Like
Yeah,
we've all had dumb questions. I still have dumb questions today, you know? So like don't stress about it. Just ask away.
yeah, 100%.
So yeah. Awesome, man. Well, if anyone wants to reach out to you, or if you don't want anyone to reach out to you, that's also fine. But what's the best way or what's not the best way?
Let's see. Well, my Instagram is EthanMH3. That's probably the best way.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. That's all we need. And I'll plug it below to make it easy. You might get a few guys reaching out to you. But
Okay.
anyway, man, really appreciate your time on this. It's been fun. It's been a quick one, but I feel like it was packed full of value. So I'm pretty stoked about
There we
this one.
go.
It's
That's how
it's
we
a
like
good
it.
one. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Of course, man.